There's a story in the Old Testament book of 1 Samuel about a woman named Abigail. Abigail was married to Nabal. Nabal's name literally means fool, and that's pretty much what he was. To summarize the story, Nabal had managed to insult David the warrior. That's a pretty foolish thing to do, to tick off a warrior. David, in response, resolved to attack and kill Nabal and every soldier in Nabal's army. But Abigail stepped in. It wasn't her fight. It wasn't her fault. Nevertheless, she went to David in humility and with great courage and convinced David not to attack. Abigail mediated peace and was able to avert great misery. Abigail's story is part of Freedom to Lead's module on peacemaking. After leaders listen to the story in full, they answer targeted questions about the story. Then they sing a song that has been created in their local language with local instruments about Abigail the peacemaker. Through this process, they self-discover the principles of crafting a culture of peace. They talk about Abigail as if she's actually sitting in the room with them. The story resonates. It becomes real to them. Many leaders have reported the impact of Abigail's story in their ministry. As men and women hear about Abigail, they have wept, they have repented, and they've reconciled with one another as they've committed to walk the narrow path to peace in their churches, communities, and tribes.
We have seen a great change in the local church areas. People who are fighting, people who are almost want to kill each other are changed and left that and reconcile and start to confess why they are doing that. This is not because of us, this is because of the training material prepared very well in context to the people in that areas.
Through stories like Abigail's, thousands of ministry leaders in under-resourced communities are being set free from unhealthy examples of leadership. They're being set free from painful experiences in their own past that keep them from reaching their highest kingdom potential. And they're being set free to learn with oral-based methods that are preferable in their tradition. God is using Freedom to Lead's program to set these leaders free. The Garden Project uses stories, images, drama, and music to develop these leaders into competent, Christ-centered leaders.
Over the past 9 years, we've learned from our oral-based partners that stories are powerful, images communicate, and songs inspire. We've collaborated with these partners to develop compelling narratives that are relevant for their people, images that are familiar, and songs in local languages and styles that sear the leadership principles in their minds. The Garden Project soon becomes viral because oral-based communicators do not need a formal training event to tell a story or to sing a song. They tell the stories around the fire. They sing the song spontaneously in their villages. The Garden Project depends on the first-generation leaders that we teach and mentor to ensure the accuracy of the teaching as they replicate what has been modeled to them for second-generation leaders, who then pass it on to future generations of grassroots leaders. The Garden Project has been translated into national and regional languages. Then the oral-based leaders take it and run with it in languages like Luo. The Luo are a people in East Africa that have yet to receive a Bible translation in their language.
We contextualize to their areas that, because the Freedom to Lead material is good especially for those who are not reading and writing. These people are not educated people. These people are completely, they are not the people of the book. They are a people of stories. So the Freedom to Lead material is prepared for by stories, dramas, and also song. Because of this, when we combine these things and give them the training, it remains in their mind. Then they catch it and they go for that. So the materials, every time when we see the FTN materials, from time to time, it is amazing for me.
You know, we didn't get it at first. We questioned whether story can really deliver something as important as leadership principles. But then we saw it with our own eyes. When oral-based leaders experience the leadership principles of Jesus through stories and images and music, their hearts are changed. It hasn't been easy. Understanding how to teach leadership through story has compelled us to reboot the way we communicate. But slowly we're learning how to relay complex leadership principles simply, without being simplistic. How to empower these under-resourced leaders to empower others, to embrace Christ-centered leadership, rather than the power leadership models that are so dominant today. To hear Alamayu say they catch it and they grow, this is why we do what we do. We want to be part of a coalition of Christ followers around the world who are being set free to lead others.